debt. Who knows? They may even go bankrupt.
See, I'm broke.
Yeah.
You know, it's so important, because I think what we do is that in the liberation struggle, it means that it's a struggle. Sometimes we don't have the money, or sometimes we don't have the time, but in order for us to be liberated, we still have to devote what we have. There are times when we have to give money. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's times that we have to give money, there's times where we have to give our time, and in order for us to see a change, we've got to make sacrifices. We have to.
Number 17, don't do any more than you have to do, and when others willingly and unselfishly use their ability to help the good cause along, then howl that the organisation is run by a clique.
Yeah, well, that's nepotism. Yeah.
Number 18, take all hard feelings into the meeting and be ready to argue with anyone and everyone. Speak hard and loud.
Oh, we had all that last night as well, brothers and sisters. I mean, people coming to make their points, and a young girl said, she said, the reason why we're not listening is that people keep shouting. Why are they shouting? People kept shouting to make their points, and they'd say, ah, boom, and give the mic back, and it's just like theatrical. It's not necessary.
Number 19, disagree with everything that is suggested for the better of the organisation. And number 20, keep the meeting in a disruptive order and walk out when you get upset.
Okay. See, again, those are very childish, they're very immature ways of looking at things. And in us being very immature, I mean, we know that, you know, it says in the Bible that ye are all God's children of the Most High God. However, we're always supposed to be developing and maturing, and the children and the teenagers have to see us in a more mature light. And when they see us behaving in a more mature way, then they then go on and make distinctions between maturity and immaturity, childhood and adulthood, you know, black and white. But they can't make any distinctions because the adults are dressing like children. The adults are walking around, like we were talking about Tim Westwood at the Mobos, and he had on... That's what Quentin Tarantino said, the Mofos. I didn't get it in the beginning because I don't think like that.
He's right though.
But Tim Westwood had on like baggy trousers, like pulled down a bit, and he had on like a little kind of top, those little baseball tops or whatever they are, little casual tops, and he was holding the mic like that.
There's a white radio DJ, in case you don't know who Tim Westwood
Everyone knows who Tim Westwood is. If you don't know who Tim Westwood is, brothers and sisters, call in, okay? Call in.
We'll tell you.
But he was there, and he was dressed like a child.
Yeah.
And in him being and behaving like one as well, what that just goes to show is that there's no distinction between childhood and adulthood. When we were young, when we were going on the way to school, I know all of us had this, brothers and sisters. We had those little old white women who we thought were witches. You remember?
Right.
As you're walking, you'd be frightened to walk past them.
That's right, run from them.
Right, but that just goes to show that there was a clear distinction between the old people and the young people, and the old people and the adults, and the really old people and the young people. But we don't have that anymore. Old people have Botox and vein therapy and implants and suctions. That's right. So 60-year-olds look like 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds now. There's no distinction. So because the children can't see any distinction, they're just behaving how they want to behave. Just the same as the adults are, because they don't see any distinction.
But it's interesting, this is called 20 Ways to Kill Almost Any Organisation, and our family is an organisation, and we've been killed, so we're talking about stopping the killing. So it's not about the youth, it's about killing the whole organisation of family, and some of these things are things that we need to really be focusing on if we want to stop the killing, by Allah's grace and mercy.
Yeah, and all of them go back to organisation, which then backs up to discipline. Because in order for you to have any form of organisation, there's got to be a level of discipline.
Yes.
Whether it's a mathematical counting of 1, 2, 3, or whether it's wash yourself in the morning before you come out your house. You know, all of that is discipline. Those are forms of discipline.
Yes.
But because we're not disciplined, and because we haven't been disciplined, and because we're not disciplining ourselves, we can't stick to any organisation. So even marriage in itself, because we get fed up, I've had enough of him. He's rude, obnoxious, disrespectful. I've had enough. I'm leaving. We get divorced. So we divorce ourselves not only within our relationships, but from the organisations, because we get tired.
With our family members, with our children.
That's right. That's right. And incidentally, that's what fasting does. One of the things that fasting does for us. Fasting, as it says in the Quran, it strengthens our discipline. So even when we get tired, we're still able to go and drain and drink on whether it's the Bible or the Quran or energy from somewhere in order for us to be able to continue. We get used to that, a section or a level of emptiness, so that we understand that there's always a striving. There's always a better way of looking at things. So if as you were saying, that you're short-tempered, I now, in order for me to understand that you're not being short-tempered with me, but what you're doing is you're trying to grow and develop within yourself. If I hear you being short-tempered, I've got choices. I can say, what are you being short-tempered? Who are you talking to? Why are you talking to me like that? Don't talk to me like that no more. Or I can say, gosh, you're being a bit short-tempered. What's the matter? That's not like you. Or I can even say to myself, which are more mature perspectives, I can say, well, gosh, he's going through a hard time at work. He's having a hard day. Let me just make him something extra, just to kind of cool him down a bit. Or let me give him a hug. It's always about us learning how to see things, not only from our own perspective, but from other people's, in order for us to have a whole picture, so that we can understand that there's more than just the emptiness that's inside of me. There's an emptiness within our community and our nation that we need to learn how to fulfill too.
Is there your closing comment? Because it's about that time, sister.
Listen, brother hijacked my thing and they want to tell me about closing comments. That wasn't my closing comment. My closing comment was about fractions. The boys and I studied fractions during the week. And fractions are just different aspects of a whole. And you can have 5 6 or you can have 1 6. But each section, whether it's 2 6, 4 6s, 6 6s, which make a whole, there are different aspects within there, and everyone has to see that there are other parts and other aspects involved in order to make us a whole. Government, politics, economics, the youth, the adults, the babies, the children, the mothers, the fathers,
the seniors, the grandparents,
the seniors, all of us.
ancestors.
That's why all of us make up family, and all of us need to learn that each of us have to have a say. It's not our time as teenagers, it's family time, brothers and sisters. May Allah bless us with a wonderful, productive week as I leave you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.
I'm doing it again,
You just had to do it. By Allah's grace and mercy. Well, you're free to do it now, sister. Go ahead. It's all good.
I can be the Cheshire Cat again now.
Right. Throughout the rest of the week.
To giggle again. Even though he hijacked my thing, but it was, again, that's a good point. That's a good point.